Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting Week 4 match for Zero League. Today we've got the Hangzhou Bark versus the Chengdu Chads. The closest thing we've got to something that sounds like an Overwatch League match. Maybe we'll fool some people on Twitch. And we are currently waiting for the Hangzhou Bark to show up. The Chengdu Chads, however, are here, as am I, your caster, and my co-caster, Chef.
What's up?
How we?
So
So
it
I
looks
bet.
like. Oh, sorry.
Nah, it's all good. We're nothing important happening right now. We're all just sitting here, waiting for the Hangzhou Bark to come up. See what's going to go on. I'm glad to see the Chengdu Chads are super excited to get this ball rolling.
Oh yeah.
So
So for our first map, it looks like we're gonna be heading to control, and that will be decided based on a coin toss,
okay, control.
and it's going to be Li Jiang or Busan.
Sweet. Those are
Yes.
both two
Yeah.
great maps. I love it. Lijiang and Busan. Personally, I'm rooting for Lijiang. I love all the boops, just because there's so many pits to knock people into, and I main Lucio. I like that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like I like playing a lot of different roles because I'm kind of a person I can't stick to the same role forever. So I mean, there's times where I enjoy the pits and times where I despise them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, there's a few pits on Busan. So there's, even if we end up going to Busan, people will not be immune to getting hit by trains and bottomless pits and exciting things like that. Oh, but here we go. Hanzo Bark showing up. Do we know the win loss records of these two teams? Who's looking to have what happen going forward?
Um, I I can check that for you real quick.
All right.
I can pull that up.
Sounds good. While that happens, since we finally got both teams in here, we'll rattle off who's going to be in this game. For the Hanzo Bark, we have Hedwig, Chuggy, YOLO, Kurt, Ecology, and Little Pants. Opposing them on the Chengdu Chads are Genie, Zara, Adam, North, Toucan, and Ducky.
Yeah, just waiting on this thing to load on my potato.
That's the way it works.
And yeah, hopefully by the end of this summer I will have a much better computer.
Alrighty, yeah, the chat's very excited for the Chengdu Chads. They've brought their peanut gallery to give their team support. And just a reminder for everyone, these games are streamed at a 2-minute delay. So if I'm a little bit slow at replying to anything of note in the chat, whether it just be the word Chads and the emoji of a panda, that'll be because I'm seeing it 2 minutes late. So sorry about that. But we do
And
appreciate you all coming in here to give your team support. Every team loves having that sort of support from a dedicated fan base.
for sure. And I did have the stats pulled up, like the records. Both of these teams are both 1-2 with the exact same map differential of a -4.
Ooh, so this
So they're
is the big tiebreaker.
yes.
Well, that's super exciting. I bet both of these teams don't. So yeah, whoever wins this goes up, and whoever loses this goes down. That does tend to be the way that math works. But in this particular case, they are neck and neck. So I'm sure that both of them really, really, really want to be the one to get another win and supersede the other one in the standings.
For sure.
Just checking
And it
out
looks
these.
like
Oh yeah, what was that?
we're getting ready. It looks like we're getting ready to decide what the map is going to be.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been looking through these through what these players play the most, and I'm seeing a little bit that there's a member in the Chengdu Chads who plays a decent amount of Lucio, at least during this competitive season, Adam. So if the Chengdu Chads wins the coin flip, I think we might be going to Lijiang Tower, because I know that Lucio is. I'd argue that Lucio is more effective on Lijiang Tower than he is on Busan. He's certainly very effective on both game modes, but we'll have to see.
For sure. Well, Lucio is pretty much kind of a staple in the meta with if you're mainly going to be running goats.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're planning on running a lot of goats, it probably would be anything it doesn't really matter what you run.
It's true. It doesn't really. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing Lucio either way. But if we're gonna be seeing Lucio either way, might as well see him on Li Jiang, where he can make a lot of use of that right click. I noticed
For
that both
sure.
teams have a tank that's played a lot of Reinhardt. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Reinhardt just happens to slot into a lot of comps, and I'm sure that they're able to play things like Winston and Wrecking Ball. But that would be interesting if we get to see a lot of exciting Reinhardt play. And I see them switching to Busan. Does that mean that they've ended up choosing that?
Yes, that was the decision made by Hangzhou Bark.
Okay, reasonable. That'll be exciting to see what ends up coming of that. Hangzhou Bark wants to take us to Busan. Busan's kind of cool too because it's a little more steady and reliable. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do feel like that is something that I've seen in the Hangzhou Bark. I have casted the Bark before, and I do recall that they tended to play. They like to pick one comp, get really good at it, and if that comp doesn't work, they stick with it. And I feel like Busan as a map is more rewarding of that than Lijiang Tower, which was the opposing option.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it looks like we're getting the readies from both sides, which means I'm pretty sure we're about to hop right on into this.
All right, now traveling to Busan.
Now traveling to the south.
It's always cool when they pick the new maps, because, I mean, Overwatch has been out for 3 years. We are in the anniversary at the moment, so whenever there's a new map, we get a chance to see cool, exciting maps that we haven't seen before. I mean, Lijiang's been in the game since the closed beta, if I'm not mistaken. So it's cool to it's cool to get to spend some more time in Busan, a map that may not have been quite so ironed out. People haven't quite figured out the exact metas that you need to completely succeed on this map.
Yeah, this map, you can see a lot of like this map can really be like any comp can be ran on it. It does look like out the spawn we do see a Winston 3-3 from Chad's.
Ooh, that sounds awesome. I can totally get behind that. You're right. So the Winston 3-3 coming out for the Chads, a much more interesting comp on the side of the Hangzhou Bark. Look at that. Look at that. Widowmaker, Genji. I wonder if they're gonna stick with this team comp. And they're at least sticking with it a little bit. They switched. But they are going to keep the Widow Genji on the field. Going to have some DPS on the side of the Hangzhou Bark. Much more typical comp coming out for the Chengdu Chads as both sides cycle right onto the control point. But they're both actually going to try to fight up on this pseudo high ground before pushing onto the points, as it doesn't unlock for another 12 seconds. A lot of damage.
Yeah, we do see a standard dive comp coming in here from Hangzhou, and it does look that Hedwig is starting off good. He already has 2.
Ooh. Oh man, agreed for the Hangzhou Bark getting out with a sliver of HP, but in this game it only takes 1 health point to get out with your life and capture the point. So the first point percentage is going to go the way to the Hangzhou Bark. Chengdu Chads sorting up to try and fight into this. Their ultimates, both teams' ultimates seem to be pretty even right now. And so they're Chengdu Chads trying to decide if they want to flank around this side. There is a Lucio lying in wait on the other side. He says, just come around this corner. I dare you. And here it comes. Gets the Winston, but the Winston is going to survive that with his jump. But with Genie being the first to fall, this is good for the Hangzhou Bark in order to hold this point. We have an ulting Winston pushing in there, trying to knock people out, but getting counter-ulted by the Chengdu Chads.
Yeah, North is probably one of the higher up main tanks in the league, so he is going to be a tough competition for Greed to take on.
Poor Genji, he was late for his train. He really wanted to make that, but the train was not interested in stopping for him. And so at 50%, the Hangzhou Bark are probably pretty happy with this hold that they've got going on here. The Chengdu Chads, however, they have a couple of good tools, 2 support ults they'll be able to use to push in onto this point.
Yeah, they're opening up with a rally, which is something you can standardly see, as the rally armor normally used to be used before fights would break out due to its fact of everlasting, but as of like a few patches ago, it now just goes away after 30 seconds.
And yeah, that was pretty much everything going the way of the Chengdu Chads. Like we saw that they pushed in, they secured the first kill. Their Zarya didn't waste any time dropping a Graviton right in the center. Bit of a risky grab, if I do say so, because they had a D.Va standing right there on hand, but they weren't able to get anything of it. So Agreed is actually going to be the first to push in there, trying to punish his opposing Winston, and is going to succeed at doing so.
Nice shot.
Yeah, so they're gonna commit the Sonic Barrier as they push in here, and there's a bunch of both support ultimates coming out for the opposing side. There's not a lot of tools left for the Chengdu Chads to retain this point. Have a nice flight, YOLO God.
For sure. Hedwig here, he's just been consistently hitting like shots, whether they be like nice efficient headshots or heck even some like body shots. But body shots, you can hit them consistently, they still get the work done.
Wow, Agreed, doing a very good job holding this point, not to mention that he's already, or I guess they're not holding, they're trying to take the point, and he's got his ultimate on hand to try and keep himself alive a little bit longer. I thought that this was a failed push, but for the most part, they've just been staying alive. Respawns are going to come in pretty soon, and so while the Chengdu Chads are probably quite glad with the amount of capture point they've managed to take, I don't know if they're going to be able to hold the point for that much longer with all these respawns in.
Yeah, this is definitely very back and forth. I can see that this does seem it's favoring Hangzhou here, but I mean, Chengdu. I got the teams mixed up. That's my apology.
Honestly, I would have agreed with you. I would have said that I thought the Hangzhou had the advantage there. They had managed to whittle it down. There was pretty much only North, and I believe somebody else was still alive on the point, and they just weren't able to finish it. We saw there was only a sliver of capture time needed to flip the point back over, but the fact that it took so long and the fact that nothing came of it, and now the Hangzhou Bark, they have a bunch of ultimates to push in onto this point, but it's do or die time. If they can't get something to happen, they're going to lose the round.
I'd definitely say that this is potentially the last fight on this point.
Yeah, no, they're not. They just aren't able to get things to happen fast enough. We have a Diva ult coming in, try to secure them some space. Isn't really going to do that. There is a Genji with his ult ready. It's not not a great time to be an ulting Genji, but what are you gonna do when it's overtime? Oh, well,
Yeah.
die apparently.
Just cleaning them all up there, and it looks like Chengdu's gonna win the map.
I'm really impressed with the Chengdu Chads right there. I mean, the Hangzhou Spark, the Hangzhou Bark, they just pushed in on the point with ultimate advantage. They had more ultimates in the bank, and the ultimates that weren't set up had more charge ready to go, and yet they just weren't able to change those ultimates into success on capturing the objective. I think the real success of the Chengdu Chads there was how successful they were at preventing the point from flipping, just keeping somebody alive. I mean, it's not normally very easy to stagger on a control map because of how far away the spawns are.
Yeah, the one thing I mainly noticed was, like, the main thing you want to know, like, the fact is, like, the best way that Hangzhou had a way of winning the fight there was if they were potentially to switch to Goats, because, like, once Goats gets set up on that point, it's really hard to take it off with that dive comp they were trying to run. But if they did, they'd be at such an ult disadvantage that it might not have worked out as well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, nobody's at an ult disadvantage right now this early in the fight. Both teams just pouring damage onto each other. This is a tale of two Reinhardt shields, and Agreed is having to wait for his to refresh. And it looks like the Chengdu Chads are going to be the first one to push onto the point. They are giving up the high ground to do that, but there's nobody really in a position to contest this capture, so the first points will go to the Chengdu Chads as this beginning mid-fight continues. But not
North does get a little too aggressive and does go down there, though. So you are gonna... You do have a trade, though.
That was an incredibly fast grab. Good lord.
From both of them.
Yeah, no, it didn't really transfer into a lot of success on either side, which of course is a point for the defense since they have capture time ticking up. And it does look like actually Agreed is committing on this, and he's got his ult ready, but hey, there's no way he was getting that off.
No way.
So I've been commending the Chad's defense, but I'm actually very impressed with their I guess this is still defense, but it feels like an offense with how far they've pushed forward. They're not giving up an inch on this area. They just want to hold this chokehold right here. But Agreed,
sure.
A lot is riding on Agreed's Earth Shatter right here. Yeah.
Oh, both are blocked.
Alrighty then, back to the drawing board, I suppose. Gonna see if they can find something else to work with.
This is only the second fight, and you're already at 60% for Chengdu.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Things are coming up daisies for them at the moment, and nothing they've tried has really worked. I'm not sure they got much value out of that Transcendence. I know they were just using it to push in, but they haven't even touched the point. Ooh.
Kurt Albert does go down.
I think he thought he was safe. Diva bombs can be tricky like that.
My apologies. I'm dyslexic and accidentally said Kurt Albert. I meant to say Kurt Lebert.
Remember when I was reading off the names, I just said Kurt. I was like, all right, there we go. I'm not even going to give that one an attempt. So all is forgiven. At least you gave it a go. And the point is finally going to be flipped. So the Hangzhou Bark managing to get some capture time. They unfortunately they let 85% go away. So if the Chengdu Chads manage to retake, there may not even be time for a counter retake. Oh, but look at those!
Sure.
Look at those Earth Shatters.
Both big, but no one, because they all both were so big, no one was up to be able to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of game-changing ults here. The only one who really's got something is Hedwig, if he can manage to get that off, and he does. But there is a Transcendence on the other side to stop much damage from coming out. And Agreed, looking dangerously low. No. And with that, the defense is going to crack like an egg, and the Chengdu Chads are going to push in and retake the point. The real question is, does the Hangzhou Bark have time to come in here and prevent this game and entire map from going the way of the Chengdu Chads?
Yeah, it doesn't look like any swaps are coming. You do see a Moira coming in instead. That does give them a slight bit of edge and mobility to allow them to get slightly faster.
Oh dear, and there goes Agreed. There's not a lot to work with here on the side of the Bark. YOLO God does have an ultimate ready and is going to be forced to use it and is going to die for it, completely blocked by North. And this is a very commanding defense at the moment, and unless there's a serious miracle coming out, I think this is GG for Busan.
Since that was
Most of it, but I just wanted to restart the stream right there, make sure that the stream is working. But everything should be sorted right now. Everything still sorted out. We got the Barks versus the Chads. The first point actually did go the way of the Chads on Busan, so they are only going to need to take 2 more maps in order to end this entire series, which is exciting for them. Looks like they're trying to decide if they want to do a substitution at the moment, or maybe it looks like it's mandatory. They previously had Genie on the Chengdu Chads, but he's not up anymore, so they're going to have to choose somebody to sub in for him. The Hangzhou Bark looks like they're sticking with all the same people.
Hold up. I had a game crash.
Oh, nope. Genie's back. We're still good to go. All right, so.
All right. I like to apologize for my slight absence there. My internet kind of went down for a second, but I am back. It does look like we are going with Hanamura.
Exciting. I love Hanamura. Hanamura is a great map. I mean, you get all sorts of... Like, what's cool about Hanamura, I mean, it either goes well where you take point A and then you take point B, or it that doesn't happen and you end up having to, like, sit around all the time. What's your opinion on the new change on the PTR, where they've removed 1 minute from capturing point A on all assault maps?
I feel like I kind of like it mainly because there's a lot of... It allows for, like, assault map to not take like half an hour and then in the end still be a draw.
Yeah, I can definitely I can agree with you on that.
And another thing is that I believe, I forget which side it is, but the respawns are on point B are also slightly faster apparently.
Oh, cool. Okay. So there's definitely a defensive buff right there. And I think Blizzard, they just wanted to avoid like every 2CP map going into like triple overtime. Like I feel like they just don't really want they don't want the games to take forever like they used to.
Like we'll see 2CP go up to like 8 points, 10 points, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing in an interview Jeff Kaplan said something to the tune of, we don't want the teams to expect to always take the second point. Taking the second point should be something that you pull off, like, and it's actually an accomplishment and work. They don't want that to be like the default ending to a 2CP map. And I think part of that might be trying to create more of an identity for 2CP as opposed to payload. Excuse me. On payload, you kind of expect to push the payload all the way to the end. just because you've got this big thing. The payload is free cover. It's healing you. I feel like that the payload is always helping the offense more than it is the defense. And then 2CP, there isn't one of those. So a game mode where it's less assured that the offense will always capture the end is giving it more of an identity to separate itself from payload.
I 100% agree with that there, because like you said on payload maps like hybrid and escort, you are more likely to end up like carrying it all the way to the end just because of all the buffs that you receive.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we're getting this ball rolling, heading up to Hanamura. Very exciting map. My favorite thing to do on attack is to play Lucio on this particular map. to no one's surprise, because that's all I ever play. But there's a very nice little boop pit right behind the point, and then while you're contesting the point, you can just wall ride around the bell and stay alive for a pretty decent amount of time.
Oh yeah, and I would say, at least on PC, as a bronze Widowmaker main, I would say that there are some nice sight lines on this point A defense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The other cool thing about Hanamura, I think it's the most common map where a bunker comp will come out, where you can see the whole Baptiste, Bastion, Mercy, Orisa, and it's always exciting whenever that one shows up, because it completely rewrites the environment and the architecture of the team fights on this point A. That being said, that does not appear to be what either team is electing to go for. The Hangzhou Bark are going with another Winston Goats. I mean, we kind of called that.
They do have the Ana there, which is something that's nice, because if it looks like that, we might be seeing a Sombra Goats coming in from Chengdu, and if that's the case, Yana does actually get to put in much more work here.
Yeah, and I don't... What's your opinion on this Sombra? You think she's going to stick around, or is she just going to scout and then zip back and then pick Zarya?
I assume it's going to be a scout, because if you're going to be playing a Zarya centered, like if you're going to be playing Sombra and a Goats comp, you're going to be switching out your Diva rather than your Zarya, because Zarya just does so much damage.
Yeah, good call. And yeah, here we go. They have switched, and they're pushing right through the doorway. And it's interesting, despite not being a bunker comp, the Hangzhou Bark played up so high that the Chengdu Chads were able to push all the way in here. Not that it did any good. They're going to lose most of their team right off the bat and get sent right back to spawn to come up with a better idea. I thought they had that for a second there.
Oh yeah, I would like to also add that we kind of breezed over this. There is a substitution on the side of the Chads that Big Boy McMatt is subbing in for North.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yeah, it's kind of something we forgot to mention there.
It happens. Well, I'll be interested to see how he ends up playing. I mean, for the first part, he managed to get his team to cycle around, and they are going to do so again, pushing into this little building. Or maybe not. Maybe they're going to be cycling back around. I'm not sure. They seem to be a little bit undecided on how they want to tackle this point.
For sure. And one thing I would like to point out here is that Hangzhou is doing a much better job kind of staying more grouped up and stuff, and which is allowing them to hold this defense.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
strong.
So it looks like one more time. This time they're committing a rally. They really want to cycle around. Actually, they're not doing no cycling. They're pushing right onto the point. And first real team fight on the point. Committing a sound barrier to it. Toucan is going to sleep with the fishes. And like mentioned, we have a Lucio wall riding around the bell. Yeah, it looks like the loss of Toucan was a little bit too much. It gave enough for what happens with Goats. First person goes down, and then the other team is going to win, and that's going to be another successful hold for the defense. 2 minutes left on the clock for the Chengdu Chads to push into this point.
Yeah, speaking of swimming with the fishes, have you ever had cod?
Cod?
Yeah.
Maybe. I wouldn't remember if I did.
Apparently it's the fish that they use in fish sticks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got this ball going. We got the first graviton coming out. It can't counter graviton.
Oh, YOLO God gets 4 out of that.
Oh man, things were looking so good. Zera had landed 2 kills, but you're gonna need more than that when a diva gets a 4 kill like that. And that is...
Yeah, that looked like it was gonna favor Chads.
Oh, this is devastating for the Chads. Less than 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock. Nobody has an ult except Big Boy Back and almost Toucan. So we're going to have to see something very interesting here from the Chads if they're going to want to take this point, as they desperately need to keep this series going. Here we go, Big Boy McMatt coming in with the giant, angry, ulting Winston. Gonna try and take out Chug. Going with Chug. Succeeding at doing so. And he managed to clear a lot of space for his team, even though they haven't yet managed to even take a single tick on the point. But that'll end very soon. And the defense has to decide if they want to push in on this, or if they just want to give it up.
And the defense is gonna also have to watch out, because you are gonna have Genie coming in on that Zen from the respawn from behind, actually going to get some picks without them expecting.
Yeah, and there's going to be an ulting Winston on top of them very, very, very shortly. I think the Chads took a little bit too long getting this ball rolling, so whatever the defense did, it worked. They waited for the respawns to come out, and no, that's not where you want to be with an ulting Winston behind you.
Ooh. No one manages to die from it though.
That was, yeah, no, I'll give him credit for that. And
Donkey gets the remake kill. Another bomb from Yellow God. This one
there we
doesn't
go.
find any though.
We've got it into overtime, and finally things are looking up for the Chads. It looks like they might be able to finally take this point and push on to B. And the defense, they know there's no point in trickling on overtime. They're just going to try to regroup, or maybe not. Ecology, get out of there.
Ecology, run! What are you doing? There's no point.
Oh, well, all right. I mean, maybe he'll get gold objective time now.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to flex his objective time. We never know.
Get on my level, yells. I got gold objective time. Chengdu Chad's trying to turn this into a sweep. I don't blame him. This is it's pretty much do or die on Hanamura. You either cap immediately or you cap in a bajillion years. Comboing a couple of ultimates, not managing to get any kills with him, unfortunately. Big Boy McBat getting ready to be an angry Winston again.
The kills look like they are coming in for Chengdu though.
Yep, and here we go. Actually, you know, Big Boy McBat holding that a very long time, but is going to finally pop it out at the same time as the opposing Winston. Neither Winston getting a lot of value other than knocking people here and there. This is a pretty classic Hanamura second point with just crazy stuff happening everywhere.
Oh yeah, we did see a sleep coming onto Matt, but it seems like Chug seemed to immediately wake him up, which might not have been the brightest idea. You might have wanted to wait to wake up the Winston until after the ult, because it ended up costing Ecology his life.
Yeah, so I mean, what happened there, I mean, the Chengdu Chads were definitely scoring more kills than the Hangzhou Bark. However, each kill the Hangzhou Bark accomplished is way more important, because the Chads have a huge walk back to the spawn if they want to rejoin the fight. So the surviving members of the Hangzhou Bark were able to stay alive long enough so that they just weren't able to get any capture point. Though not any, I mean, they almost made it to 2/3, which is definitely not bad for an initial push. And
for every tick you get, it makes it easier to cap, just slower and slower. You have to be there for less time, meaning there's less chance of stalling.
But they're gonna have a lot to push through. I mean, look at all these ultimates on the side of the Hangzhou Bark. Two of them coming out already, not to a particular effect.
Yeah, I noticed Yellow did pop bomb there, but it ended up going right through the door and ended up in the middle of the outside, which is where nobody was.
Oh man, that's not what you want. Big Boy McMatt looking low. He's gonna be fine. He's got the primal rage, but he's not really using it somewhere useful. The point's over here, and while he was doing that, the rest of his team either died or had to run away. So again, not having a lot of success on these pushes, and I think there's a reason the Hangzhou Bark picked this map. It's definitely more favoring of their comp.
You see Matt switch over to the Rhine, which is actually what you kind of see more commonly on this second point.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Rita hasn't switched.
So this might be an unusual opportunity for them. I mean, Reinhardt's capable of building ult very quickly. If he can build that up fast enough to prevent his opponent, because I mean, Winston can't do much for an Earth Shatter because it's so easy to whittle down.
Dang, Matt makes a switch to the Rhine and immediately picking up 3.
Yeah, see, there we go. He's going to have ult so quickly. Agreed has to decide whether he wants to lose this 94 ultimate percent to switch to Reinhardt, and he's not going to do so. Reinhardt's going to have an Earth Shatter before there's an opposing Rhine.
Yeah, I assume he wouldn't switch yet. That's being that close to popping being able to have the ult and needing to get to this point fast.
He tried to have his cake and eat it too, but I don't know if it's going to pay off for him. The Chengdu Chads are just getting kills left and right, and they have such a commanding point on presence right now that it's totally up to these last few players. We have an
Bomb
ultimate.
does come out.
Doesn't do anything.
Oh, that's not what you need. Ducky,
Oh.
Hedwig's ult.
Oh, that's exactly what you're looking for if you're the Chengdu Chads. Things are looking very commanding for them. There is the other Graviton coming out with no questions asked, no issues. But I mean, this defense is doing a very good job of keeping the trickle coming so that they
Another
can't
shatter.
capture anything easily. Oh man, yeah, no, this defense sticking around. They're in for the long haul. They've managed to drag this all the way out to overtime. The Chengdu Chads desperately trying to get at least a little bit more capture time so they could hit that second tick. Ultimate
looks
coming
like-
out.
I feel like over time they are going to get the second tick. It's just how long. They're gonna get the third tick even as well. It was just a matter of how long could the Hangzhou Bark hold out until they lost it all.
And I mean, I wouldn't be too fussed, honestly, if I were the Hangzhou Bark. They managed, they did give up both points, but they did not give up both points easily. They managed to knock both points out into overtime. And so now, if they're able to beat it with at least a minute in their bank, they'll be the only team to get a offensive overtime push, if I'm not mistaken, which is
Yes.
definitely an advantage for having to
As
take
long
the
as
first
you
point.
have over a minute left.
Yeah. So that's going to be their goal. I predict we're going to see goats from the Hangzhou Bark. More interesting is going to be what are the Chengdu Chads going to use in response. They have shown a little bit more versatility or a willingness to swap up their comps to something weird. So we might see bunker, we might see goats, we might see some DPS classes. Who knows?
Ready
Yeah,
for battle.
mystery is yet to be held, but it does look like the Winston 3-3 is being shown here.
This is not an Agatha Christie novel. There is no twist. Just goats. We are the men who stare at goats.
Attackers incoming in 30
Unless, are they going to pull a J.K. Rowling and
Oh man, we were so close.
all of a sudden it's a DPS comp all along?
I would love it. I could get behind that. YOLO God trying to figure out which off tank he wants to play. D.Va's a good choice. I'd be okay with that. Not wasting any time with no Sombra. They're like, we were pretty sure they're just going to play goats. Also, we don't care what they play because if whatever they play, we're just going to do goats. So we're going to keep this going.
Yeah. And they're running
Alrighty.
the Reinhardt this time, rather than the Winston.
Yeah, interesting. So the Reinhardt definitely just get the ball rolling immediately with the Reinhardt. No fooling around with a Winston this time around. Cycling around onto the point. So they actually got to the point a lot faster than the opposing Chengdu Chads did.
Yeah, they're going straight to point.
And here they go, pushing in, getting a bunch of damage, getting one kill, the Zarya, which is always good, but they're going to need to get a couple more kills than that in order to take this point.
Which doesn't seem to be happening.
Sleep well, fair prince. As they get ready for another go, looking over, grouping up, keeping all of the same comps, so they're going to be able to keep their ultimate percentages. Ultimate percentages looking pretty even at the moment. There might be a slight advantage for the Bark, but nothing that 2 swings of a Reinhardt hammer won't fix.
For sure. Agreed went down early that fight, so he wasn't able to build up much ult.
Yeah. Chengdu Chads, they play a lot more aggressively than the Hangzhou Bark did. They keep trying to push in there and stop their opponents from getting any sort of value. But I don't know if it's panning out for them because it's letting the Hangzhou Bark choose the arena of the fight. And they keep choosing to fight on the point. Oh, here come all the ultimates. It's turning into a ballroom blitz in there. But the offense is managing to get just a little bit of capture time. Not a lot of capture time. Who is even contesting? Oh, my boy Lucio. You just keep on skating at him.
Man, Ecology, what are you doing all the way up there? I thought you were trying to get gold objective time.
Oh no. So, the Chengdu Chads are giving up this first point significantly faster than they were able to take it. A whopping 6 minutes on the point for the Hangzhou Bark, the Bark, to push in onto this last point. And they are not wasting any time in doing so. So what do they have set up? They got a couple ultimates. Everybody's got a couple ultimates. Honestly, this is happening a lot quicker than it was last time.
Ooh, the yellow god gets to eat.
Oh, these divas are hungry. Transcendence. Oh, wow.
Yolo got with another 4K. Nice shatter set up by Agreed there to allow for that.
Oh man, this is incredible. Yeah, this is pretty much all YOLO got right here, and not to denigrate his teammates or anything, but there's just some amazing diva coming out. Big boy McMat. Oh. Oh, they're so close to capturing, and if they do, they're going to have such a commanding time bank. Oh dear lord, this is not what you want to see if you're the Chengdu Chads.
I think that was around 5 minutes, and all 5 of those minutes are going to be used to get 1 tick on point A to win the map for Hangzhou.
Ooh, yeah, the Chengdu Chads, they're going to need to mix something up. So, the Chengdu Chads have been playing more comps. The Hangzhou Bark just keep playing goats, and it keeps working. So, I think the Chengdu Chads have to see that coming and decide that to mix things up. I don't know if a bunker comp is the right call. Honestly, I don't know what the right call is here. I mean, all the Hangzhou Bark have to do is just build up 6 ultimates. Have 6 ultimates, and then push in with all 6 ultimates. And if it doesn't work, they probably have enough time to do it a second time.
Yeah, it does look like we're going to see a Ryan 3-3 coming through here for the defense.
Okay,
And
Ryan 3-3. If it ain't broke, I suppose.
yeah, and I could see this. I could see why you'd want to do this, because with a bunker comp like that, you don't really want to run that in this situation, because all they need to do is build up the ultimates and then wipe you. And with the over 5 minutes in the time bank, you do not have. There is too much time there to allow you to actually kill them enough times where they can't get the ults needed to just roll through your comp.
I wholeheartedly agree. I don't think there's enough time for a bunker comp. They're just gonna have to beat Hangzhou Bark at their own game and be the better goats. And they know what they're up against. They saw that diva up there. They're like, all right, guys, we got goats. That's okay. Let's push in there. Pushing in through the front pretty efficiently. Uh-oh. A lot of members of the Hangzhou Bark going low.
Chengdu is being much more aggressive this hold around rather than staying up on that high ground. And it's working out for them as they win this first fight.
Oh, that could have been so differently if they'd taken just a couple of more health points off of Big Boy McMat. He was really close to going down, just like his opposing Agreed. But losing your Reinhardt on defense is far worse than on offense. But he's going to stay up. Agreed has an ultimate advantage thanks to how aggressive he was playing. But he needs to stay alive. Oh dear, Big Boy McMat going down. That is not what you need if you're the defense right now. Offense pressing this advantage. Oh dear. I think this is it. I think the charge of the Light Brigade has finally ended.
The whole kill feed is blue in favor of Hangzhou. With 6 people on that cart, on the point, rather, that is going to be Hangzhou's map.
Yeah, that's what happens. Honestly, the Chads were given an impossible scenario right there. One does not simply block goats for 6 minutes if all they have to take is a single point. And I can't really point to anything in particular they needed to do differently. I mean, they were playing everything right all the way through. I think Hangzhou Bark, they just picked a map that they're really, really good on.
Yeah. You can see something potentially like that happening on the side of Chengdu, as they are going to have the selection for map 3.
And so that takes us to 1-1, if I'm not mistaken. They are neck and neck. I'm not surprised that these two teams have identical win-loss rates, because they are playing very similarly when it comes to success.
It's very close.
Yeah, so with Chad's taking the first and Bark taking the second, we're going into this map 3 to see who's going to take the lead in this best of 5. And the choices they have to choose from are King's Row and Eichenwald. Which one do you think the Chads are going to pick?
I'm going to straight up honest here. They did decide on King's Row. I honestly would have gone with Eichenwald, because King's Row is much more of a goats comp. And after that map, Hangzhou seemed to have, like I said, they ended up becoming much more grouped up and working as a team and actually being able to come through and win those team fights, which is what allowed them to roll through both of their attacks on Hot Nomura. And so with something like that, it looks like the same thing might end up happening on King's Row, though.
Yeah, I can definitely see why you would be worried about that. And the only thing I can think of is, as the Chengdu Chads, they've probably just scrimmed more on King's Row. It's a more popular map. They've probably spent more time on it, and they must have something up their sleeve. Because I mean, it is also true that you can kind of like you see more Widow on King's Row, even though I don't think Chads have played a Widow yet. I think the Bark were the only one who played a Widow at the very
Yeah.
beginning of Busan.
We saw
So
Hedwig on the Widow, and he put in a lot of work actually. And one thing I would like to say is we do have another subs. North is coming back in for Big Boy McMatt, so that might have been the missing piece that they need to actually have a more successful comp.
that is true. Yeah, we'll see if that is going to help them at least a little bit. And that is definitely possible because when they had North, they were able to take the first map. That being said, I don't think Big Boy McMatt did anything particularly wrong. He played quite well. He was able to build up his ultimates very quickly.
Oh yeah.
And what more can you ask for in a main tank, keeping the team alive, pushing in there? But we're gonna see what ends up happening on King's Row. Yeah, no, I would have probably also picked Eichenwald, but the Chengdu Chads, they know something we don't. They've got their strats, they've got their teams. They knew that North was coming in. All of these things could make a difference. And the Hangzhou Bark for their side, I bet they're not too fussed. They're like, hey guys, how about we play goats?
Yeah, Hangzhou seems like for the most part, other than after the first point of Busan, we've only seen the same goats comp mainly, other than switching up a Winston and Reinhardt back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah, just pick your goats, pick your poison.
Now entering King's Row.
Heading into King's Row, the sleepy British city where everyone hates Omnics. I mean, it's kind of weird that they're like still super mad at the Omnics. I get that the Omnic crisis happened, but like, I mean, what time historically did the Omnic crisis happen in Universe? It was like 2037 or something, and then Overwatch takes place in like 2042. They rebuilt rather well.
Oh yeah, and I think there is on point C at least of this, there is you can still see
Ready for battle.
kind of scars from that kind of.
It's kind of funny because you look at this map for Overwatch Uprising, everything's all pristine and not pristine because it was a war zone, but it's all silvery. Like it kind of looks more like something out of Star Trek. And then we come to this, which was supposedly just a couple years later, and everything looks all gothic. I'm like, what, did y'all run out of steel? What happened to your previous architecture design? It's kind of the problem like where Star Trek Star Trek Enterprise supposedly takes place before the original Star Trek, despite everything looking more advanced.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about a possibility of a Widowmaker, and it looks like at least for a little bit they're going to
I have a
one.
high feeling that this Widow might be here for like the first, just for the first couple of shots. See if
Yeah,
they can
you
get
nailed it.
anything.
Well, we did still see a Widow, so I'm counting it. And North actually, oh, look at Agreed, managing to almost immediately get up 60% of his ult, but does so at the cost of his life. Not what you're looking for as the Hangzhou Bark. They will be cycling back, and the Chads are they're gonna immediately start getting some capture time on this point.
Yeah, they're in no rush. They're being super aggressive here. It might have been, like I said, it might have been just synergy with their main tank, as like the team might be like more well worn in. Oh, Agreed does pop a shatter and gets a lot of kills.
They probably just didn't think he had shatter. I don't even know how he got 60% shatter so quickly. So they just probably got blindsided. Because I got blindsided and I can see everyone's ultimate percent.
Yeah, I mean, I have a solid amount of Reinhardt under my belt, and it mainly was Chengdu being so aggressive, were super up front, and Agreed, every swing from the Reinhardt hammer gives you 5 to 6% of that ult charge, and so when you're hitting 5 to 6 members with each swing, you're getting like 20 to 30% each swing.
Yeah, and we just saw evidence of that with how quickly North was able to build his ult, but he wasn't able to get anything out of it. And so now
with another shatter.
Yeah, with an opposing Graviton coming out, the Chads, they're kind of having to regroup before they can push back onto this point. they're dealing a lot of damage. It's just not turning into kills. Though that might be the straw that breaks the defense's back right there with Agreed again going down.
Yeah, he kind of was off on his own there after North charged him.
Same thing happened on Busan. Agreed might need to start playing with the team just a little bit more because, I mean, when Agreed dies so quickly, this is what happens. Chads capitalize. And that's a pretty commanding first push.
You have a 4.5 minute timer now on the side of Chengdu for this.
But North is once again not able to get through that shield. Agreed may be dying more often, but he's winning the Reinhardt mind games.
Yeah, Chengdu, they're still keeping this very aggressive playstyle as Genie's sitting back here he's sitting here taking the driver's seat of the payload.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can afford to play this aggressively if the defense is not going to push in there. Hedwig does have an ultimate ready, so he might be able to use that in an effective way, possibly. D.Va just used her defensive matrix, and oh, that was the other graviton.
Both grabs come out.
There we go, a classic.
To pop the bomb and get the kill.
Yeah, no, trading support kills here. Neither side willing to give up this payload. Once again, an Agreed going to go down, and it looks like that was it. YOLO God managing to knock Ducky out of mech, but other than that, the Chengdu Chads are going to finally reclaim this payload and continue pushing forward.
Yeah, and they're still just keeping this super aggressive. They even just got Kurt Lebert. That's very staggered.
Yeah, no, it seriously is. Even with Agreed charging in there to try to keep him alive. Both Reinhardts have their ultimate ready, so we're gonna be seeing some more Reinhardt mind games here. I bet North would really like to hit somebody with an Earth Shatter on King's Row, because right now every time he tries, Agreed is just 100% ready for it. And these Reinhardts stare each other down. Who says McCree has the best duels?
The counter shatter from Agreed works out.
Oh man, Agreed has definitely been player of the match here, both good and bad. Like, if he does well, his team does well. If he does poorly, the Chads take. Speaking of which, the Chads are going to take second. They're going to have a whole 4 minutes to push in onto this final point. They're not going to be able to do so completely uncountered, though. The Hangzhou Bark do have time to set themselves up for a counter, because this payload rolls incredibly slowly. They really should have. They should have upgraded for the premium wheels.
The main reason why this payload has ended up moving so slow is because they've just mainly been so pushed up, and you have the Zen just solo riding it. And when you do have more members, you gotta have them. You gotta have as if it's NASCAR. You gotta have more members on your tire crew so you get the tires switched out and get going faster.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision by the Chengdu Chads to consistently leave only 1 or 2 people pushing the payload. I mean, it has
worked out for them, though.
It has worked out for them, you're right. They've managed to push it a pretty long way with only 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. North does have another ultimate ready if he can get something off. Oh, no!
Oh, Chug, huge whip.
Oh, not what you're looking for there. I think he just slightly miscalculated how much momentum he had to not get booped into the pit. But that is the opening that the defense needed to push them all the way back to spawn. And the Chengdu Chads are going to have to completely regroup after that.
Yeah, when you're this close to the end of the map, though, it's kind of harder to get in there and actually get onto that point. You have to be super aggressive to be able to get it done.
Yeah, we've gotten into the point where the advantage is definitely favoring the defense. And that defensive ult is going to come in.
Used and no one dies.
Yeah.
Goats in a nutshell.
There was another Earth Shatter coming out. Once again, Agreed's Earth Shatter managing to land more people than North's. And managed to capitalize that into a kill. Adam is Lucio.
Oh, Ducky.
I wasn't looking. What happened? Nobody even got credit for the kill.
Yeah, he was sitting there. Well, he might have been doing it for to regroup with his team, but he's just sitting up here peeking at them over where they're at right now. And YOLO God just came up and kind of just pushed him off the edge.
Oh, that's weird. I guess that's what happens.
He just dropped. He didn't try to recover, so I'm kind of assuming he wanted to do it.
Oh, and there we go. North finally getting a bunch of people with the Earth Shatter. Exactly what his team is looking for. Agreed. Taken out of the picture once again. But he's got to play with the shield.
They do lose Genie with that Transcendence, which might be potential.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not good. D.Va Bomb coming out.
Oh, Agreed's charging!
Oh man.
No.
Agreed was like, no, this is not the right time to charge. If only I could
Yeah, he
cancel
was trying to
charge.
charge in to regroup with his team, and the bomb was coming in.
Wow, that was that was either a 500 IQ diva bomb or it was just luck. Either way, I don't think Chengdu Chads are going to complain about it as they push in there onto this point. Finally, they're just a couple meters away from the point. But the defense is out blocking.
Down.
And everybody
Bomb
regrouping
comes
from that diva bomb. Wow, they're committing. They're committing Toucan's rally to this. They're going to keep this going. And as soon as they manage to drop these last few people...
If this becomes dragged out enough, this could potentially be your last fight.
Oh man, I hammered down. The payload so close. 3.65 meters, 1/10 of a meter for every day of the year.
Big charge from North.
And oh man, an Earth Shatter combined with a Graviton, but there was nobody really in a position to capitalize on it. And so they're just gonna keep the payload where it is. We got another Diva Bomb coming out, and there we go. Wow, that was a uneventful ending to that particular fight. Turns out in the end, all you need to do is zone him out with a Diva ult.
The main thing I've noticed, I think it's something that Chengdu was able to catch on to as that point went through, but the main thing with Agreed is he really gets super aggressive with these charges, and I think that's mainly what's caused him to die so much, because he has these super aggressive charges where he just goes out and he's kind of on his own away from the rest of the team.
Yeah. Agreed feels like the protagonist of this map, where success or failure, like it's his responsibility. Like if this were like a novel series, it'd be like, oh, Agreed, did you charge in when you weren't supposed to? Your team's gonna get wiped. Oh, Agreed, did you land a 3 Earth Shatter? Your team's gonna wipe and do a great job and hold the point. Everything revolves around him.
You know what I mean? This isn't taking any jabs. This isn't taking any jabs at anyone else's performance. So, there has been a lot of success coming in from the rest of the team. Chug's been putting in some work on the brig. We've seen Ecology been getting picked.
Diva's been doing a really good job.
Yellow God's been doing a lot of work as well. But it just seems like the team revolves a lot around their Reinhardt.
Yeah, I'd say both teams revolve heavily around their Reinhardt. Everybody just kind of coagulates around the main tank, and Reinhardt is such an impactful main tank, especially when the teams use when the teams aren't running Winston. Winston has slightly less agency than Reinhardt with the way these two teams play. So when we have a Reinhardt battle like this, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
Poor Hedwig. No snipes for you. Go back to Zarya.
And we do see a Sombra on the side of Chengdu, but he's quickly caught out and picked.
Wow,
Agreed is active. They do have to go a little bit without a shield, but it seems not to be much of a problem.
Yeah, we got deja vu here as the offense immediately pushes onto the point and takes half of it, no questions
Early
asked.
tick. Do they get the second one? That they do.
Oh man, the Chads, they're not just gonna give this up, right? They gotta push in there. They're trying desperately to push in there. Oh, they got in there just when they needed to. Perfect. Zira needs to stay alive, as does Chuggy. Everyone desperately trying to get that first pick, and they're going to trade Brigidas. So we got goats without Bridgets.
That isn't so common. You know, Brig trade isn't the most common thing, since Brig has her shield and a slightly higher HP pool than the average character.
Yeah, but oh man, they were able to knock Lucio off the point just long enough to capture it. That's what happens when the offense only has a lick of capture time that they need. And that hold was still good. The Chengdu Chads did a good job burning time off the clock. 5 minutes and 21 seconds, yeah, that's pretty commanding. But the Chads had like 4 minutes and something when it was their turn to push the payload. So they pretty much equalized. And they have a lot of ultimates that, look at those ultimate percentages. Everyone's going to have their ult in the next minute or so, except possibly Ducky. And that's more than enough ults to get something to happen.
Yeah. It shatters, but it's just no one's able to capitalize because everyone's shattered.
Remind me of nap time in kindergarten. Everybody just lays down at the same time. Here we go. We have all these ultimates coming out. Diva, Graviton, Transcendence, Terrifying. Poor Zira just wasn't able to get through all of those ultimates. But there's more than enough defenders still alive to keep this payload from going anywhere.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And we see
even with Reinhardt's shield up, Lucio was hit by the Graviton, and that is exactly what the offense needs to start pushing through here.
I don't think Reinhardt has a Graviton, but
Sorry about that.
yeah, no, that's fine. I was kind of
Pop the
Get on
there.
that, Jeff. Give Reinhardt a graviton.
But Adam was kind of getting he was getting up close and trying to get aggressive, trying to boop him and displace him, and he kind of got caught out by the shatter. And it looks like there will be one more fight before this point is capped.
Yeah, Chengdu's not giving up point B without a fight. Uh-oh.
Oh, you're Lucio.
Wow, poor Adam. Turns out Adam got super earth shattered. So earth shattered he got dropped from the map. I hate it when that happens. Hopefully,
That was kind of good timing because the bomb literally right before the bomb explodes.
I know, right?
The game pauses.
Honestly, we kind of lucked out. If it had been like a millisecond earlier, we'd be hearing the noise of the bomb in the air. This way, all we have to hear is nothing because it was in that split second between the build up and the explosion. But this is not good for the Chengdu Chads. You can't lose your Lucio during a fight like this. I mean,
the bomb does get Chuggy.
Oh, poor Chuggy. I'll bet he would have.
All that build up just to die.
He's like, I would have had my shield up if I'd known, but that's not the way it goes. Oh, they don't need a Lucio. The Chengdu Chads don't care. They're not letting this point be taken. They're like, hey, welcome back, Adam. While you were gone, we stopped the point.
Yeah, Adam's getting really. Like, the main thing I've noticed is, like, mainly overall, Hangzhou Bark, they are being aggressive. Like, Hangzhou Bark on their attacks seem to get really aggressive and stuff, but then when they're defending, they seem to play, like, super passively. Meanwhile, we consistently are seeing this aggression on the side of Chengdu.
Yeah, the Chengdu are a little bit more reliable in that case. Something probably for the Hangzhou Bark to work on, because I don't know if their offense. They definitely have a commanding defense, but I do feel like they could serve to be a little more aggressive. And that Earth Shatter looking good. Hedwig still has a graviton in his back pocket if he feels like firing that at some point. And there they are, double graviton coming out.
Bomb from Yellow God.
Ooh. There we go. Gonna get the kills that we need. Zenyatta's gonna go hang with the other Omnics in the Undercity, and that is finally going to be the second point capture for the Hangzhou Bark, keeping this going. 4 minutes on the clock. The Chads did even better holding B than they did A. They've managed to almost completely equalize the times. 4 minutes is about how long the Chads had when they were pushing into this final point.
Yeah, I think Hangzhou has a little bit more time, but they were able to kill that clock down a bit.
Oh, Agreed wants that 5%.
Oh, and going for that, North is able to capitalize. Transcendence does bring him back up.
Yeah, Transcendence at the right time to keep the Reinhardt just barely alive long enough to get his ultimate. And oh my gosh, what a swing. I mean, it looked like the Chads had everything going there, though Adam did boop Hedwig into the pit, and Zarya doesn't have that much mobility, so it may be a while for Zarya to get back, going to give the defense a much-needed time. So here we go.
We do see the point approaching. We have a little over 3 minutes. This is about the same time bank ink as Chengdu had.
Yeah, but look at how many ultimates the Chads have on hand. They've popped one. They have 3 to go. North and Zera about to get their ultimates too.
They Agreed goes down and everyone just is getting out.
Yep. They managed to wipe everyone out. The only ultimate they had to use to do that was Toucan's Rally. They have 5 ultimates, or they will have 5 as soon as Zera gets a couple more percentage. Yeah. Though, if we look at the ults opposing them, the Hangzhou Bark are only a little bit behind them in terms of ultimate percentage. So if the Chads don't get a lot of value out of these ults, they are going to be punished swiftly and fiercely.
Yeah. We just gotta see. The grab comes out already, followed by bomb.
Oh, there we go.
Gets booped, and so he's not able to transact. And we just see the team melt.
Oh, that is what you're looking for if you are the Chengdu Chads. They only had to spend 2 ultimates. They've still got 3 in the bank. That clock is ticking down. 2 minutes and 11 seconds left for them to capture the point. Still more than enough time to do so.
Yeah, but Hangzhou will be coming online, the 5 ultimates here.
Oh, man, you're right. They're going to have all the ults.
Oh.
Yeah, shield aside, still managing to hit 3 people with that Earth Shatter and actually forcing a Transcendence. Kind of an unusual use of the Transcendence there.
Really up close grab, and he's able to put in work.
Wow, yep. Somebody on Hangzhou said, let's do this. We're pushing in. Use your ults, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and they popped 4 of them. And they popped 4 and they're able to win. So they are going to be able to push this up.
There we go. There we go. Forcing a forcing a retreat, respawn.
Green getting really aggressive here.
Oh man, committing a sound barrier to even get through there. Nothing coming from North's Earth Shatter. Divas, sound barriers everywhere.
Green sets up for Yellow God to get 2 plus a mech.
Yellow God just keeps racking up notches on his mech. It's up to Ducky, and I don't think a baby Diva is going to do much to hold this. So with,
Yeah,
so 1 minute and 8 seconds. If the Chads had managed to hold for 8 more seconds, this might have been a different story. But as it is, the Hangzhou Bark are going to be going to this fight with more time, like a more useful time, in all honesty.
We see a little closer to 2 minutes. Like just shy of 2 minutes for the attack for Hangzhou compared to Chengdu's 1.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, this can go either way. 52 seconds is not a lot of time, and the Chads have the Chads have shown that they have a pretty good defense when things go their way. They just have to look out because any mistake the Chads makes, the spark, the heart, I keep doing that. The bark will just capitalize on it. Like they pounce on the slightest of weaknesses, in a way that I don't think the Chads really do in response.
Yeah, the Chads are kind of like the Chads are definitely relying more upon each other rather than like we see like it's mainly they're relying more on like not really you see I kind of just slurred up my words terribly there, I apologize. But see basically Hangzhou is like they're relying on they're really relying on mistakes made by Chengdu to capitalize on their efforts.
Yeah, and so this will be a time for them to do that, because the Chengdu Chads have to go first. They have less time on the clock, and so they're going to push in here. See if every single time the offense gets an early pick and then manages to start taking the point. And if there's a time for that to happen for the Chads, it is right now.
Yeah, we see Hangzhou's playing a really passive defense here. They're really pushed back by Chengdu.
Yeah, I think they know how important it is that one of them doesn't die early, because that'll spell disaster on a defense like this. North barely managing to stay alive, only had a sliver of health left, managing to get out. Now it's up to them to save Genie if they can, and they are not able to. Yeah, first real point A hold right here for either team, honestly.
Yeah, with 10 seconds left, they're really going to need to get on this point if they're going to have a team win.
Yeah, committing the sound barrier just to get in there. Everybody's pushing in. Got an opposing sound barrier. Got a graviton coming out. All the ults
Ducky
coming.
does eat Hedwig's ult though.
Ooh, Diva stunning North and preventing that Earth Shatter from coming out. Definitely the right thing to have happened there as offense, or I'm sorry, as defense. And Agreed getting a triple kill. There's nobody really left. Offense has the spawn advantage, but are they going to be able to get to the point in time with this overtime wick burning down? There's no one even alive to touch.
Yeah, and really nice work from the hammer coming in from Agreed.
Oh man, we're getting flashbacks to Hanamura here, because the Hangzhou Bark, they have 2 minutes on the clock, and all they have to do is take 1 tick. Otherwise, this is going to be a draw on King's Row.
Initiating match.
So we're gonna see what team comps they end up going with. If I may guess, I'm going to guess that the Hangzhou Bark are going to go with goats, and I have a feeling the Chads are going to do the same. I don't think they want to mix things up right now. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to try something gutsy either. Yeah. 2 minutes on the clock, gotta hold for 1/3 of a control point. That is not the time to pull a shoeless Joe Jackson and just try a curveball.
If I may interject here for
Sure, man.
Agreed. There you go, Clovix. That was for Clovix. Anyways, go on ahead.
Should we start calling him a Gweed from now on? Is this the Elmer Fudd tournament?
I saw Klavix begging for it, and so at the end of Chengdu's attack, I did say it.
Oh, good. I'm sure Gweed is really happy about that.
Well, we're mainly doing this for Klavix.
Oh, okay. That's great. Well, speaking of which, man of the hour pushing in, playing a little bit more aggressively than the Chengdu Chads did when they were in this position. Not much more aggressively. The Chads are even more hyper aware of how important it is that none of them die early. And they are going, actually they're swiping their push. They're gonna take out a greed, and they're going to push forward, and they're going to drive the offense back. The offense, knowing that they have plenty of time to do so, are going to allow it and regroup for another push.
Yeah, they probably do have time for another fight here, but losing a Gweed so early, it kind of costed them that fight.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, Orb of Harmony on Diva. Agreed. I refuse to use the Elmer Fudd pronunciation. Is getting ready, pushing in there one more time. The ultimate North already ready to go if he can land it. And he does. 3 people. Oh, but Agreed counters by killing Toucan. But
Yeah.
at what
But
cost?
there's still too many people from the side of Chad's there to take him down. And we're really getting down to the wire here. This could potentially turn into a draw. And then all come down to that last map to decide who wins.
Yeah, both teams are desperately looking for an opening here. I mean, yeah, the Chengdu Chads are looking for a draw right here, and they have the ultimates to make it happen. Oh, but here comes a really good Earth Shatter. YOLO,
It's nothing.
Ecology using that trans probably just to not die to the Diva ult, and the first real push is happening right here. It's do or die moments for both teams. Oh no, North has
big
gone
shadow
down.
from a Gweed.
Oh,
Followed by a double. The counter.
the North doesn't forget. He's going to hit Agreed, and Agreed says, okay, fine, you do that, buddy. The rest of your team is going to go down. And here it comes.
Yeah.
Oh, in the 11th hour, Hangzhou Bark managing to squeak out a victory here on King's Row. Exactly what they're looking for, taking them to the lead in the entire series, up 2-1.
Oh yeah. The main thing that kind of North had a really nice shatter there, but the main thing that costed them from being able to do anything with it was that Yellow God popped that bomb, and he knew that if he brought down that shield to swing that, it was going to cost him his life.
Yeah. It was a battle of inches right there. It could have absolutely gone either way through that entire fight. Ultimately, it ended up going the way of the Hangzhou Bark, but I wouldn't be too fussed if I were the Chengdu Chads. They get to choose the next point, and what are the 2 maps they have to choose from?
All right, so for map, it's going to be Assault, not Assault, Escort, my bad, and it's going to be between Gibraltar and Rialto.
Ooh, those are interesting choices. I wonder which one. So I guess I forced you to guess last time, and if you have an opinion, let me know. Personally, I think the Chengdu Chads are going to go to Gibraltar, mostly because I feel like you see more off comps there. It's not quite as easy to just steamroll the map with goats. I mean, you see things like Orisas and Wrecking Balls and Widowmakers and Genjis and Hanzos and crazy stuff like that. As opposed to Rialto, which is just Reinhardt Paradise.
For sure. But it does look like they are going to go to Rialto.
The Chads chose Rialto. Okay.
Yes. So it seems like both of our picks are wrong.
Yeah,
'Cause
all right.
We both kind of thought the same thing of like them wanting to run maybe some off comps or something, but it seems like they want to keep running this goats.
To be honest, they actually haven't been running that many off comps. The only reason we keep thinking that is because they keep losing at goats to the Hangzhou Bark, so we keep assuming they're going to mix it up. But really, the Chengdu Chads haven't really been living up to the Chengdu Hunters in how much they mix things up. Like, we have been seeing a lot of goats from them. So maybe we haven't really been looking at them properly. I think that they just want to beat the Hangzhou Bark at their own game. And if you are going to try to do that, Rialto, I suppose, is the best place to do it, because Rialto is the best place for goats.
For sure. And
Ooh.
have you seen this long kind of like song that was kind of written for Chengdu?
No, I didn't.
I don't know. I haven't seen the Twitch chat yet, but I know I've seen it at least in the Discord.
Yeah, no, Penguin just posted something, looks like some song lyrics. Not that y'all are going to hear me say that for another 2 minutes, but I definitely should look that up. The Chengdu Hunters are very entertaining to watch in the Overwatch League, and the Chengdu Chads are too. They definitely try a lot of wacky, crazy things just to see what sticks. And,
For sure.
I think that was either Item or North dropped out temporarily, but they came back in. Doesn't look like there's going to be a substitution on either team.
Doesn't look like any substitutions have come in just yet.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. As both teams prepare for Rialto. I suspect we'll be seeing more Reinhardt. I mean, I know that when I play on ladder, if my team has a Reinhardt, we might win, but if my team doesn't, we don't. It's pretty much shorthand for Rialto.
I mean, when you're as low in the ladder as me, it's kind of like you play what you're good at and hope that you are better than the other team. I have had games because on console I'm in that plat range, and I've had games where we run 6 DPS and we'll beat like an actual well-designed
What?
2-2-2 comp.
That's hilarious. The only crazy cheese comps I've played that worked, I actually found I find these through the group up feature, which it's amazing that I even find 5 other people willing to play it, much less 5 other people willing to group up and play 6 support. 6 support can actually be a really fun team comp. Just because there are so many different support players, like Brigitte kind of plays like a tank. Like Moira and Zenyatta, they play like DPSs. And so, like, there actually aren't... It's not as weak as you'd think. And 6 support can actually do a really good job.
Yeah. So, like, that kind of... That point you just made, it kind of brings me back to, like, in 2017, I made a tweet on my Twitter back when I actually used Twitter. I mean, I don't really use it anymore now, but back when I used to use it, I made a tweet saying, like, how I swore Moira deserved to be a DPS just because in low ladder, no one like really does anything like with D.Va like taking care of like her damage orbs or whatever. So they just fly around and they kill your whole team.
Yeah.
And so I literally went into Photoshop and literally photoshopped, reworked the whole hero selection menu to put Moira in the DPS category.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's one thing that bugs me about people who play Moira, because I play Moira as a healer. Like, I emphasize healing my team, and so that's what I think of her. So sometimes I'll go into ladder, and it'll be like, there's a Moira. I'm like, oh, good, we don't have to worry about heals. And then it's like, just kidding, she's a DPS Moira. We have no heals. Shame on you for picking, like, Zenyatta as their healer of choice, because now your team has, like, no heals.
Oh, yeah. I mean... I honestly have seen people, they'll pick like, we'll see like, I'll have like a Lucio Moira port core, and we'll need like a DPS player, so I'll end up going like Mercy or Ana or something,
Yeah.
so that way we have a second support.
Yep, no, that's the way, that's just how the story goes sometimes. And luckily, after we did all this talk of Moira, somebody has chosen to play her, and because it's defense, they cannot easily go back and swap out, so we may be seeing a Moira on this point. Actually, this is a very unusual team comp from...
This is some ambulance we got going here. They're going to be playing like super aggressive here. We're going to see them try and hold at the spawn gate.
Look at what's opposing them. Not that there's much to draw because they're offensive, they'll probably just all switch to ghosts.
This is highly like... I feel like this is likely to change because Zera's sitting there on the Zarya. And yeah.
Yeah, you can't fool me, Chengdu Chads. You can't get my hopes up. I've been burnt too many times by offense.
After the amount of times I've seen what looks like it might be an actual good DPS comp, I've had enough of it.
Yeah, this ain't 2016. Get out of here with your DPS comps.
I refuse to believe it anymore. Agreed takes himself down, but takes North with him.
Wow, this slambulance needs to call 911 because it needs resuscitation. It needs a defibrillator. It didn't work in the slightest.
Yeah.
And they know it. They're switching over to goats, and that is exactly what the Chengdu need at the moment. Let's get this payload moving completely unmolested. Get to just move completely through this point. Nobody around.
Yeah. And like they had what looked like it could have been a stable comp, but just Chengdu knew how to handle it, and so they were able to just go in and clean it up pretty well.
Yeah. Luckily, they still have... Luckily, Agreed got to stick around and keep his ultimate, so they're going to have a Earth Shatter that they are immediately going to use just in time for the Winston barrier to go down, tag a bunch of people, completely end that point, which was really the first fight since it was so successful. Genie
Ducky,
trying...
turns out the mech isn't waterproof.
They really should fix that.
Yeah, she really should make a waterproof mech. Maybe that'll help her out in some missions.
That's like mech making 101. Where is Kurt right now?
Like, you know, Iron Man's able to do it. I think D.Va can too.
Yeah, seriously. She's not working in a cave with a box of scraps. But here we go. Ducky
I mean,
saying...
granted, that Mark suit wasn't probably waterproof, but
Speaking of things not being waterproof, this comp seems to have a couple holes in it because it is not 100% working. And we have a graviton
like
coming out, trapping some people in this room.
I feel like in the case of just like a no ult 6v6, you do have an advantage for Hangzhou just because they're running this Reinhardt.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, no, we have this all getting set up, ready to go. The defense trying to regroup. They don't have much to work with, but they are going to have a Reinhardt shatter soon, and not a lot of people in a position to make up for that.
North gets 2 with the Winston ult.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Keep that going. That is a very effective Primal Rage, taking out almost the entire defense single-handedly. Everybody else, they got to hold on to their ults, other than Toucan with the rally.
Yeah.
And North deciding to switch to the Reinhardt. They're tired of getting Earth Shattered. They'd like to try Earth Shattering at some point on this map.
Yeah.
And they actually, yeah, so but that being said, the rest of them, they still have their ultimates ready. And here they are pushing in. It's Agreed's turn to hammer down everybody. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Agreed.
North's stuck on the boat.
Oh, that's not good. Is he going to be able to get out? North, where are you? Is he? Oh, he's stuck on the graviton. He's coming around, and wow, he's probably pretty happy with what he sees when he made it back on dry land. His team is still doing hunky-dory, taking down opponents, and that payload continues to roll. As soon as they deal with this Lucio. All right, so they, yeah, no, Agreed, kind of holding back here, waiting for his team to group up with him, playing uncharacteristically passively. A lot of free capture time coming out on this point, I see. And here comes the graviton coming out, hitting the blue team, the Hangzhou Bark, countering it somewhat with Kurt's sound barrier, and another massive Earth Shatter coming out, comboed with the YOLO God Diva ult. Man, YOLO God, this guy, he ults so much, it's ridiculous. I don't know how he gets so many ults, but he does.
Yeah. And like some of the players have in this map so far, my internet apparently decided to take a swim with the fishies, and
It's all good. I had you, my man. I talked non-stop. I'll bet the chat loved it.
for sure.
North trying to push through this little door, getting some damage up. 60% on his ultimate. He's going to have it relatively soon, especially with how aggressively the opposing team is playing. He just has to live long enough to be able to fire it off. Ooh, stunning Agreed, but Agreed is able to stay alive and get that shield up. And his team keeping him alive. Who's pushing in there? The opposing Reinhardt trying to punish the lack of shield, but isn't able to really safely get in there himself. And he didn't save that ultimate in his pocket for very long. He's jumping right in there. Didn't really hit that many people with it, but you don't have to when the payload is that close to the cart. And it looks like this defense, it is going to fall like a sack of potatoes. And as soon as they finish off YOLO God, who just this once can't pull off a miracle 4K. And that is going to be the second point for the Chengdu Chads. They have 4 ultimates, soon to be 5 ultimates in the bank. 2 minutes and 43 seconds to capture this point.
Yeah, that's a really nice. You want to try and go into this third point with as much time as possible, because the third point on Rialto at least is very hard to capture.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Especially with the location of the spawn from the end point of the cart.
Here come the oh yep, no, not that time. that was interesting. Earth shattering the Diva bomb so that it was out of position and so it didn't get any kills. I mean, that certainly worked, and YOLO God didn't have a lot of time to make use of his new mech before getting eliminated.
Yeah.
And oh, they actually have to commit the sound barrier just to push in and stop this point just a little bit longer. Sending a rally out. Actually, really, it looks like the Chads are kind of just giving this one up. They're like, all right, you know, we've been pushing real good. We have 1 minute and 47 seconds just to push the cart, only a little bit. But they're not going to hold off for that long. Both teams meeting in this little sector. Agreed is probably going to get his ult before the opposing Reinhardt, see if he can get some value out of it. But here it comes. He's getting ready. And oh, at 94%, he's going to fall. That is not what you're looking for. Kurt doing a pretty good job, like hiding in the back, stopping this payload from rolling everywhere. But it's just he's just stopping this payload just a little bit. So here we have another push coming out. The Chengdu Chads really want this payload in. They're like, we are done with this map. We want at least a minute on the point, because we saw what happened last time we didn't have a minute. Oh, managing to hit Kurt with Ducky's ultimate. That is definitely good. And YOLO God is not able to get there in time to stop the payload. That will be them capturing. I didn't see if they managed to do so with a minute on the clock.
Yeah, they really are just trying to, for one map at least, try and have that time bank advantage, because they really want to try and push through and get that map 5 so they can potentially win this series.
Yeah, it's very important that they do so at the moment. The Hangzhou Bark are in the lead right now, 2-1, and the Chengdu Chads, they don't want it to end on Rialto. They want to take it to a map 5, because map 5 is Control, and the only map the Chengdu Chads have taken is Control. So this is, like, they want to take it back to that, because that's one of their best game modes.
We could be seeing something that, at least, what kind of reminds me of Season 1 Legend Spitfire, is where maybe potentially Hangzhou's just really weak on Control, and so you're kind of just aiming to get one of those other maps.
Yeah.
And then you can take the series.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. We'll have to see what ends up happening with that. Interesting comp selection coming out. Just
Not
as
sure
I said
exactly what it is.
R.I.P. Genji. Got replaced by Brigitte. Story of every DPS main's life in 2018.
Cannot relate.
And it looks like nothing too unusual. No crazy slambulances coming out this time. No, this time we're getting
No
bog standard
slambulance.
goats.
No.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tracer kind of looks weird without her goggles on.
I've never seen it.
It's on the
Oh.
front. It's on the title screen.
Supportal Combat, Ecology hitting Genie as the very first pick. I don't think they were expecting. Did you see that? The Hangzhou Bark completely ignored the payload, flipped around the side. Wow, they just got completely roundhoused by the Hangzhou Bark. Did not see that coming in the slightest. That is not good.
Hangzhou must have some close connections with Chuck Norris there to be able to pull off one of those. I'm kind of not sure exactly what's happening.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Chengdu
Lobby.
Chads trying to push back in onto the payload, not having a lot of success doing so. The payload is effortlessly able to round this corner, and the Chengdu Chads, they're managing to build up. Agreed, trying to stay alive is so low. If he can just keep his shield up a little bit longer. But it looks like North is going to have his ultimate very soon if he gets a chance to use it. Ultimate coming out, managing to hit 2 people, countered at least a little bit by the sound barrier, keeping Zenyatta alive just long enough to get that ultimate off. Or actually, that was the other Zenyatta. Genie activated the Transcendence to try and give his team a chance to escape with their lives. Not really succeeding at doing so, though. Looks like only Ducky. Ducky will be the last one alive to tell the tale. Tell the respawners that the Hangzhou Bark say hello. But they're hanging in here. I don't know what this is. It looks like a hotel, maybe? We have the rally coming out. Hangzhou Bark, they are pushing their advantage as hard as they can. Surrounding this corner. Getting to push over the bridge pretty much effortlessly. Ecology firing out his Transcendence to keep everyone alive. If Agreed can just stay a little bit... Oh, no. Caster Cursed. Sorry about that, Agreed. Would have been really cool to see you build up your ultimate and fire it off, but at the moment, continuing to aid the offense. And this is exactly what the Chengdu Chads are looking for. This is what they need. Keep this payload going with a commanding time bank. Or, I'm sorry, the Hangzhou Bark.
Hangzhou seems to just have like a much more predominant like comp and attack wise. Like they seem to be able to like take their aggression and make much more work out of it than we've seen from Chengdu.
Yeah, absolutely. YOLO God busting out another double kill on Diva. It's just that just keeps happening. I don't know. YOLO God, he's a wizard at threading that needle and getting diva picks, even though there's so many shield heroes on the field right now. And sending 2 people on the cart. Getting ready. Probably not going to be able to push it that far before the defense regroups. And this time North's ready. North immediately one-upping Agreed with a deadly Earth Shatter. He's going to have to wait until he respawns to use that. And that is the call to arms for the Chengdu Chads. They're going to push everybody all the way back to spawn. Look at how far forward they're playing. Man, if they'd had a back capper set up, that would have been really bad.
Oh yeah, but when your whole team goes down like that, it's kind of something like you're just more concerned about trying to get regrouped and make another push to that point.
Yep. And for that reason, the Hangzhou Bark, they have regrouped, and they're ready to get this going. They actually have a slight ultimate advantage at the moment, so if they can get something to happen quickly, they can capitalize on that. They're going to have to do it quickly, and they're not going to be able to do it with any sort of surprise, because the defense absolutely sees them coming as they push through this little doorway, or try to at least. Oh no, Agreed fell down. That's not good. North managing to get a kill. Oh man, it was so minor. Just the fact that Agreed got hit where he did by that graviton that sucked him off the platform so that he stopped being able to help his team stay alive. No shields, no Earth Shatter.
Yeah, Zarya's grab can be pretty major, and like the fact that it kind of like can push you out of position from where you want to be with the rest of your team.
Not good, not good, but this time they're not going for the high ground, they're going right onto the payload. This time the high ground belongs to the defense. Defense is Obi-Wan Kenobi in this situation. They're pushing in, not getting a lot of value out of it, though that Earth Shatter was commanding, and they're able to use it to finish off Ecology. Chugji actually doing really good for somebody in the middle of the fight right there. YOLO God so close to getting Mech is going to hold onto it for the respawn. And everything is coming up Chads at the moment. This has been such a commanding defense on this second point. Pretty much, it's just nothing that the Hangzhou Bark try work. I think they're just having problems grouping up. The Chads have been doing a really good job picking an individual on the other team and saying, that guy, let's kill that guy. And then the rest of the Bark are like, oh shoot, we lost that guy. It's going to be really tough to fight as a team now. And then they kind of lose hope and then they regroup.
Oh yeah, it's really been detrimental to them.
Yeah, Zira snuck around the outside, dropped a graviton on top of them. And, whoa, what was that? Managing to stay alive. 2 kills coming out for the defense. North trying to equalize by killing off Chug D as Brigitte, but it's too little too late. And finally, the Hangzhou Bark have managed to crack this defense and are going to probably, I'm willing to bet that they're going to take the second point without the Hangzhou Bark having, without the Chengdu Chads having an opportunity to even contest. And there we go. 2 minutes left on the clock for them to take this third point.
It's similar to this time bank that Chengdu had.
They do have a they do have a ultimate percentage advantage, with I'd say 5 of them being ready to have their ultimate really, really soon. Ooh, both Earth Shatters coming out, not really hitting anybody. Ducky managing to get a couple important kills right there. Agreed, definitely out of position, and is punished for doing so. And so despite giving up the second point, I'd still be pretty happy if I were the Chengdu Chads right now. There's only 1.5 minutes on the point. It's nowhere near the capture point. And they are almost certainly going to end this map with a time advantage unless the Bark pull out something absolutely nuts right now.
For sure, because the main thing that's been happening is you gotta, like, we've seen a lot of times where Agreed just being, like, trying to make something happen. It kind of reminds me of, like, a bumper style where, like, you're getting super aggressive trying to make them picks happen.
Alright, I'm being informed that it's Hangzhou, not Hangzhou. I apologize. But anyway, the Hangzhou... The Hangzhou?
Yeah.
Man, go me, right?
Chengdu.
Alright, well, I promise if this goes to a map 5, I'll do better on that one. And it is looking like that might happen, though YOLO God cannot stop getting those double kills with those Diva Bombs. Keeping it coming. Lots of kills coming out for the offense. They may be able to push in there. Not with as much time, but it is looking a lot more favorable that they're going to finish the map. There is a little...
it does look like Chengdu might have their first time bank advantage that they might be able to use.
Yeah, they've had Toucan switch to the Wrecking Ball to give them some advantage on trickling and on defense and on mobility. And it's kind of working out for them, but not really. Agreed getting the first kill, Hedwig finishing off the opposing Zarya, and there are not a lot of people in a position to continue blocking this cart, though they have managed to burn it all the way down to overtime, which I'm sure is what they were looking for. We have a Diva mech right on top of the point. Actually, it managed to sneak right over and hit Adam, and then North is going to fall down. Genie trying to stay alive for just a little bit longer. Tracer finally showing herself for the first time this map, but not for particularly long. RIP Tracer. And with that, in overtime. All right, go work with me here. The Hangzhou Bark? Hangzhou. The Hangzhou Bark are going to take the point, and then they get a free minute on their clock. I guess it's not free. A minute goes to their opponents on Chengdu. Did I get that one right?
Chengdu.
Chengdu. Yeah, go me. These
That
are
one you have right.
hoorah! Super secret caster strats or pronunciation guides. I rock.
I'm doing everything I can from the sidelines.
Exactly. So do
You
you
may be able to actually see the map.
yeah, I was
but
gonna say, do you need an invite back into? Because this is the time to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you are streaming, so I was gonna ask you, so that way, because
Okay. Are we mates? Are we friends?
I
on,
don't think so.
Attackers incoming.
Okay.
I got it. I can invite you back.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't realize you DC'd. My bad.
Yeah, I've kind of just been like sitting here, like, yeah, that's happening.
Wow, look at that play by that guy right there.
I've kind of been watching the stream, trying to like. I realized, oh wait, there's a 2-minute delay. That's not gonna help.
That's really funny.
5, 4, 3,
That feel when casters are stream sniping. What does 2019 come to? Anyway, the Hangzhou Bark pushing in through the side. They're trying to strike lightning in a bottle again. And the Chengdu Chads, they're like, yeah, you tried that already, and it worked really, really well, which is why we're not letting it work this time. Diva going for a swim. Turns out Diva is also not waterproof. Should really, really work on that.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily the fact that she's not waterproof. Maybe she just can't swim.
Oh, that's a possibility. That makes that strat she pulled in the Diva short even more gutsy because she did it over the ocean.
Yeah, maybe she didn't die from it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Very
big
nice.
shatter from North.
Yeah, hitting a bunch of people. Exactly what you need right there. And they are sent packing. And right now, the Hangzhou Bark, they just want another chance to push. They're like, is anyone alive to continue touching this point? Lucio was trying to stay alive long enough to trigger overtime. Not sure if he was even able to do that. He was not. They sleuthed him out. Poor Chuggy J. Tried to get out there. Not able to. And now, 2 minutes on the point, or 2 minutes on the time, for Chengdu to push this payload all the way to the first point? Or do they not even need to do that? It's payload, right? They just need to push it further than this.
They just need to push it 39 meters exactly.
All right. That's doable. I think they can pull that off.
2-minute time bank. I think it's possible.
Yeah. Which means we might see some unusual comp coming out from the Hangzhou Bark because they might, I don't know.
It doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
A man
I
can
didn't think it was
dream.
likely. I didn't think it was likely just because you have like what they tried last time. Mainly, if that doesn't work out, it's going to cost you the whole map.
Yeah, if they did that slambulance thing again, that would be GG. So yeah, they're gonna go with goats. When in doubt, believe in the goats. Keep calm and goats on.
Yeah. How do you think that the only real impact against any of the heroes on goats was that Diva, her defense matrix has a shorter range on it. How do you think that's going to impact the meta? If it's gonna do you think it's gonna be like potentially something that little could make such a huge difference on goats, or do you think...
I think so, absolutely. It blocks a lot of accidental like you don't accidentally tag stuff as much. And it did feel like a lot of times you'd be shooting at someone who wasn't Diva and your shot would still get eaten. So I support that change.
Yeah, I definitely support it.
but I feel like something that little, it's not gonna like be like something that's gonna like completely ruin this meta.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like Hangzhou is just gonna
Oh.
C9 this point and give Chengdu
Wow, that was
the
that was
map,
quick. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to a map 5, ladies and gentlemen.
which will be Oasis.
Ooh. Okay, I can get behind that. Love me some Oasis.
This is the first map 5 I've casted.
Me too,
First-
actually. Not counting like practice casts, like scrims and stuff, because those always go to 5 maps because the teams are practicing. This is the first time I'm going to a
Yeah.
map 5 where like there's some actual meat on the table and someone needs to actually take it.
Yeah, this is something I'm kind of excited. I'm pretty excited for, because this just shows that both these teams they had the exact same standing, and one of these teams is coming out on top in a map 5, very close.
Yeah, look at that, and and we're glad that you will be here for Oasis. We missed you on the middle chunk of Rialto, and yeah, no, Oasis is such an interesting map. It's probably the one control map where there's not that many boop opportunities. I mean, there is the highway, but nobody really fights out there unless you get lucky and somebody's going for that one health kit. So it's kind of one where the Lucio has to play a little bit more about the point block, because it's very easy to wall ride around most of these points and stay alive and bait out the clock.
Oh yeah, especially on the one with like the mosque in the middle. This is the one map. It's been out for quite a while, but I don't know the point names for it.
Yeah. I think
For the most part, I know point names on like Nepal, Lijiang.
right. I only know University is the one with a well in the middle. A
Yeah,
well that doesn't kill you; it just
I know
drops
that's
you.
University. I'm pretty sure the one that has like the little like middle where it like has like the T-shaped high ground. I think that's Garden.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, the other ones. I think I'm.
No, I think
Gardens
no, I
is
think
the one
that's
with a
Garden.
fountain, isn't it? Oh, that's the one you're talking about, right? The T-shaped
Yeah.
high ground. Yeah, that's Gardens. I'm with you on that. And this other one is City Center, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I don't know. This is the one where like I think I know like I don't know Busan that well either, but that map recently came out, so that's I kind of have an excuse there. But Oasis, I don't really have one.
It's all good. We will be finding out shortly which one will be sent to. There's 3 maps. They're both fun. My favorite is probably Gardens of the 3. I like the architecture of Gardens. I like the 3-dimensionality of the map. Though I guess the one that I'm calling City Center, it might not actually be called that, but it's got the jump pad. I don't know what the Egyptian civilians use that jump pad for in their day-to-day life, but when it's 2 teams of Overwatch players
Is
fighting,
this Egyptian?
isn't it?
I thought it was more like Middle Eastern.
Oh, is it? Maybe
I think
maybe
it's
I'm
like around the area where like Symmetra, well not Moira, like kind of like I think her like something that shows like she's here is somewhere on one of these maps.
Yeah, but Moira's Irish, and she came here after getting drummed out of Overwatch. So she's not native to wherever Oasis takes
Yeah, I mean
place.
she's not native here. I know that.
But you're right, actually. It might be in like Dubai or something like that. Now that I'm
Something-
thinking about it.
I thought it was either that or like something like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah, now that you're mentioning it, I think it takes place like one of those places and not in Egypt. Either way, very beautiful city. Whoever lives here, I'm still not sure what the civilians use the jump pad for, but I'm sure that they kind of have fun using it, because it's certainly fun as an Overwatch hero to just go flying into the roof Lucio Ball style.
Oh yeah, probably one of my favorite things to see happen in Oasis is that like it's probably not gonna happen unless somehow we see like a DPS come through, but like on the tracer going on that jump pad and then using your blinks to go over the like roof of like the arches and then dropping on them and dropping a pulse bomb. That's probably one of the sickest highlights you can have on this map.
That sounds pretty amazing. I thought you were going to say the highest of noons, when McCree takes to the skies and then rains bullets from above with a high noon.
That's always fun. Like Just the jump pad can lead to like so many like cool looking highlight reels and stuff that can happen. It's always enjoyable, and it looks like we are going to that point.
Awesome. City Center. Flower Child in chat. Flower Child 117. The last hope against the Covenant's Gardens. They also agree with us that it's City Center. And so I think
Okay.
at this point, even if we're wrong, we could say, hey, there's 3 of us. So we just outvote the game devs. It's now City Center, even if it wasn't previously.
Yeah.
And we're going to take the camera off the jump pad. Imagine we're a tracer. We're, wah, and then we blink, blink. And then we just drop a pulse bomb right on a Genji. Ooh, speak of the devil, Hedwig's on Genji. Let's see if that sticks around. Genie.
Ooh, we could see another dive comp coming in. You see like a. I don't know if that's going to stick on Chengdu necessarily, but if
Yeah, no,
any of
I
this is
honestly
gonna,
can't see it.
because
pretty-
North being their main tank player on Widow.
Yeah, no, they're just...
It looks like none of. It does look like we are gonna see a dive comp on the side of Hangzhou, which.
Interesting. That's bold. I didn't expect that of them. They seem to just love goats so much. And,
Yeah, we were saying at the beginning of this match that Greed just got antied and just melted there.
Oh, poor Greed. He activated his pot of greed, but died before he could draw his 2 cards. And Hedwig having to pull back. And looks like, yeah, no, it looks like this point is going to go the way of the Chengdu Chads first.
Yeah, it seems like we were saying at the beginning of the match that Chengdu was going to be pulling these these non-goats comps, and we've seen more of it on the side of Hangzhou than on Chengdu.
Yeah, agreed. She's trying to equalize because North absolutely has more ultimate percentage than him, but it doesn't matter as much with this.
He's just sitting on the high ground over here, just getting free shots, healing up his team, damaging the enemy.
Oh, North trying to get out with
been
his
working.
life.
EMP comes in. That's a 5-man EMP.
Oh,
Leads to a
that's-
nano blade. 2 already. Oh, slept but immediately rewoken.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, no, Hedwig getting play of the round right here, unless something real crazy happens. Awesome. Yeah, I gotta love a giant Genji ultimate. We're just shredding through a bunch of bad guys. That being said, remember we were talking about how good Lucio is at contesting, and he is taking way longer than he should have to die. And we have North trying to push in there, trying to build that ultimate back up. Agreed is like, you can try to push in here, but then it'll be my turn to final rage. Primal rage.
Yeah. We see Chengdu got a decent chunk on this. They got a little under half, 46%.
Oh
As the
man.
Primal Rage comes out.
Oh, Agreed popped that
Yellow
right
God
when he
gets
needed to.
2.
YOLO God. Like, the Chengdu Chads must be shaking their fists like, darn you, YOLO God. How do you keep getting double kills? He definitely has been getting more kills as Diva than the opposing Diva, which is Ducky at the moment. I don't know if Ducky has played Diva the entire time, but just YOLO God is just so good at his bomb placement. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, his bomb placement's been
Bomb.
efficient. Like he's efficiently been being able to get kills with that bomb.
Oh, Genji's gonna have another ultimate soon, and I imagine he's not gonna hold on to it for much longer. And here we go, coming out. Step 1, Lucio sent back to spawn.
Doesn't need the nano boost to get any kills with this one. He still gets Adam.
Genie actually did a really good job keeping him or herself alive as the... how's Sombra doing? R.I.P. Sombra. R.I.P. in Sombra. And
Frickin'
yeah,
Sombra.
looks like the Chads are going to be able to flip this point back to them. Pretty
Really nice stalling on this side of Hangzhou though.
Yeah, definitely good play coming from both teams. These teams feel the most even on control maps. They both really have. They know what they want to have happen, and they're really good at making it happen. Chuggy J trying to get in there, get a really sick EMP. They've already gotten a really sick EMP, but they're gonna try to land one more. Oh.
Nano onto the Winston. Probably going to be used
now.
likely to keep him. EMP does get 3.
Yeah, that could have gone worse for the Chads.
Sarah
in all
drop throw
honesty.
and he does go down.
Yeah, Agreed managing to get a kill, and he's going to be very close to another Primal Rage. He'll try to
Oh,
push-
the Brig boops to Diva.
Yeah, no, both teams pushing in here, getting a lot of damage on each other. Nobody's actually falling. Everybody's managing to stay alive. Hedwig getting a nice kill, and then yet another.
Hedwig with the ult. It's Genie.
Oh man, Hedwig is just like wrecking face with these Genji ultimates. He's been terrifying. But for the time being, so while the point does belong to the Chads right now, the Hangzhou Bark are doing a really good job of keeping themselves on the point, and they're probably going to be able to retake. And at 80%, that's a really good time to do so. Though Chengdu are going to have a chance to push back in here at least one more time.
Yeah, we saw Toucan switch to that ball, which kind of honestly might cost his team the chance to actually get onto the. It might be really bad because he switched over the ball to try and contest.
Oh no!
He was already at 99. That resets any potential chance for a rally if they even had it in the first place.
Yeah, but they are going to be able to trigger this overtime, which is what they need, and now they need things to go their way.
Doesn't get anyone.
Fight.
Yellow God does find Zero though.
This isn't a Pink Panther cartoon. You can't hide behind the tree. Getting hit by that bomb, and all these kills are going the way of the Hangzhou Bark, and the remaining members of Chengdu. So they both just Chung and Han, like they're just the same syllable.
Hangzhou and Chengdu, like it's more of a ah sound.
Gotcha.
Hangzhou.
I'm getting better, maybe. I might not be getting better, but I feel like I'm getting better. And dang it, the Hangzhou Bark are pretty happy about that. Managing at the first point, if they manage to take this university, then they will graduate with the entire series. And Chengdu,
They will graduate to a 2-2 record.
yeah, right, which will be awesome. And the Chads. The Chads are like, what? This is school. This is when Chads are supposed to have like the best time of their life. They don't want to give this up even remotely. They hit the books, they've done their studying, and they're ready for the final exam. And North is just ready to go, going to be pushing in there very quickly. First person on the point. First person to score some capture, some ultimate percentage.
Early pharmacology on Adam.
Ooh. Maybe a little bit too aggressively played by the Chads. Hedwig and his team was able to very effortlessly capitalize on that, leaving Zenyatta back to start getting some capture time immediately, and the remaining members of Chengdu are sent packing.
Yeah, looks like they forgot to bring their books to this class.
So yeah, pretty normal stuff being played here. Could have sworn I saw an Ana through the door. Must have been someone else's silhouette. Got some supportal combat here. Ecology taking out Genie. Hedwig finishing off North. Yeah, just in general, I mean, just looking at that kill feed, that is a solid defensive hold by the Hangzhou Bark.
Yeah, Hangzhou's been ending these fights kind of quickly, which, though, it is allowing them to build up their ults and have much more of an ult advantage. It is allowing Chengdu to get more opportunities to come onto this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chengdu is they're gonna have a really good opportunity coming up here. They don't have any ults ready right now, but they're gonna have them very soon, and they only have 2 support ults opposing them. So if North can not die and then get a real good Earth Shatter here, it could be really effective. Because actually, they managed to get one through the Transcendence too.
What happened was North managed to pick out a greed there since Ecology's Transcendence was blocked by the wall, preventing a Gui from getting any healing.
Yeah, no, that was exactly what they were playing for. And thank you. I'm glad to hear that, Flower Child. I definitely need to work better on that, because it's respectful to not mispronunciate names. I mean, who likes the telemarketers who gets your name wrong? That happens to me on a regular basis. But oh my gosh, look at all these ultimates that they have going to this next point. So long as they don't get double
with a double kill.
Oh, that fight was over before it began. So Chuggy, that probably wasn't what he was looking for with that rally. But if you're gonna lose an ultimate, rally's a really good one. The rest of you, I guess I'm speaking in first person to the Hangzhou Bark. You've all got your ultimates. You're ready to push back in there pretty effectively. Adam, the only person on Chengdu who has an ultimate ready, I'd say the advantage in this upcoming fight is definitely the Hangzhou Bark.
Yeah. They do have a slight time, which is closing from the pop-up grab without Trans being online. They are going to try and take advantage of it.
Yeah, they're going to go for it.
Oh god, that was a yellow bomb.
Yeah, wow, that was something else. Not even the Transcendence was enough to keep North alive through that. And the Hangzhou Bark, they're going to take that opportunity to push in there. Adam, running for his life, not going to get particularly far. And they are going to flip the point just after the Chengdu equalized. So both teams at 65%. Chengdu Chads doing one switch, I believe. No, same teams. Genie just respawned. Clueless. North is ready to go for another push. Look at these ultimates. There are a lot more ultimates online for Hangzhou than the opposing team.
It looks like they're gonna use them.
Oh man, North is so low, and he is going to fall.
Adam. There's Gerhard. Both Rhines are down, but without the Lucio, it looks like it's gonna go in favor of Hangzhou.
Yeah.
It looks like they might be winning this series.
I think Zenyatta has a chance to sneak onto the point and trigger overtime at least.
Are they able to touch?
Oh, they did. They're keeping this going.
They're gonna keep this going, but they don't have their Zarya.
Don't go quiet into that good night. Oh.
Oh, you better be ready to block that. Oh, nice block
they
timing.
are.
Yo, got pop the bomb on point.
Oh, it's all up to Ducky. Ducky and Zera. We got a Tracer. We got a Lucio sneaking
Ducky's
around the
down
back.
below. He's probably gonna come up and try and contest again. There he is.
There we go. Keep it going. It's not over
though.
until the fat lady sings. And it is over. Oh, that was a commanding final push.
Hangzhou through it all come out on top.
Oh, that was such a back and forth. Like, this was not a stomp by any definition. Both teams did an amazing job here. Even right up until the last wire. I mean, we looked at those percentages. It was 65 to 65%. Like, that is so close. It
does not get much closer than that.
I feel like the only reason, and I guess that makes it sound a little harsh, but one of the major reasons that the Hangzhou Bark were able to come out on top was just because they played goats slightly better than the Chengdu Chads did. I mean, that felt like whenever it came down to goats versus goats, the Bark had a slight advantage. Whenever it wasn't goats versus goats, the teams felt really even. So if I were the Chengdu Chads, I would work on my goats, because that just seems like that's their weak spot at the moment. Bark getting the overlay up. So these are the final scores for the day. We had the Chads took the first map, or I'm sorry, I wrote Busan when that was actually Oasis.
But it looks like we are now ready to do our
Post-match interview.
Yay! Do you have any people in particular you'd like to talk to on the Bark? They were all doing like a really good job today.
I personally have one person. I don't know if they were interviewed like last week or not, but one person I'd like to talk to is Hedwig.
Okay, I'd be down to talk to Hedwig. We only had one request in the chat for somebody to talk to, I believe, and I believe it was somebody on the Chads. And so, yeah, I'm willing to. I'm totally down to talk to Hedwig as well. I mean, it's a tough call because everybody on both teams, I'd say, did a really good job. The teams definitely had a lot of cooperation and a lot of times where they were doing a really good job working together.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and move in.
Alrighty.
Okay. We got a Hedwig flying in.
Here comes. We're in casting booth 1, right?
Yes.
All right, here he comes.
Hello.
Hedwig, hello.
Pagu.
Hey, Hedwig, congratulations on your hard-fought victory here today against the Chengdu Chads. Your team did really, really well.
That was a very tough game, though.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was very back and forth.
I just want to say, if anyone from Chads is still in the chat, amazing job. Y'all did really well. It was very hard to win.
Yeah, definitely. You guys had some really great moments and some really great cooperation. In particular, we were amazed at how many times YOLO God was able to pull off like double kills. How much cooperation, like how much were you all working to help him get those, and how much was it just him threading the needle with his bombs?
It very much depended. A lot of the time, though, it was our cooperation. For instance, it might be one of my grabs or something. or it would usually be Agreed would either stun the Rhine out or like charge him out, or Kurt is very, very good at the second a grab ends, he boops the Rhine up so that their team gets separated. So that was what we utilized. And then there were also sometimes when my grab would get eaten, and we just called it a distraction. And that's how the bomb worked.
There we go. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. One question I had is, this is kind of a good question in my opinion, but we saw in Busan, you on point, the very first point, at least you switched and were playing the Widow for, I think it was the whole point, and you were actually doing really good. You were consistently being able to. You opened up the match with 2 body shots, which I'm not judging you on the body shots stuff. Don't think I'm doing that at all. Body shots get kills. I don't care if you're hitting them and getting kills. You're doing good as a Widow. But as a bronze Widowmaker myself, could you teach me?
Click heads, forehead. Honestly, though, like, the biggest thing, especially into goats with Widow, is you have to play very passive most of the time. Like, if they're... And my team was doing an amazing job of protecting me, but usually their Winston, their Diva, their Lucia will come up and just hard focus you. And my team is doing a very good job this match of keeping them off me, to just let me have free space and free reign.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of ties into what I was going to ask, because my question is about how you guys build your comp around Agreed, because Agreed as your main tank, he played so aggressively. We'd be like, oh god, he's charging in. Oh, but he's not dying. Oh, but he is dying. Oh, but they don't care and they win anyway.
So we call ourselves the Vancouvers because Agreed is basically Bumper. He is the most aggressive main tank I have ever seen, which is not a bad thing, honestly.
I've seen that.
Oh man.
He's so aggressive, but the best part about it is we have a very, very good support line. YOLO is very good at eating things. My Bubbles, he's very good at calling when he needs bubbles. Chuggy, Sherlock is good too, but Chuggy, Eco, and Kurt are all very good at keeping him alive. So we let him feed, because we kind of have to, because he doesn't know any other way. And it just works, because he gets in their back line and somehow kills 2.
Yeah. And also, he was so good at getting, like, when it comes to landing, like, sick Earth Shatters, and also blocking Equos and Earth Shatters. It felt like every single time the 2 Reinhardts were at a head-to-head, Agreed would somehow get the last laugh.
That is Agreed in a nutshell. It especially helps. Chuggy's gotten pretty good at bashing, and Kurt is very good at just booping the Rhine out of the way in general. And I don't want to harp on North, but North did play a bit too aggro. North and Chegg, did play a bit too aggro and let their team get shattered.
Yeah.
But Agreed has always been the big plays or insta-feeds.
Yeah, like he definitely was doing. He had many moments where he was able to come through and get a lot of picks.
And then there was the Rialto charge. On Zen.
That's not the charge I was thinking. I was thinking of the King's Road charge where he charged right in and he wasn't able to stop the charge, and the Diva Bomb got. That was both you and him.
Yeah.
I was expecting it would just be me, but agreed.
He charges in, and the bomb's
Dividing
right there.
A lot. Dividing dealt with him on Dividing saw him on Rio, and he did this.
All right, so if I can ask one more question, actually, to go ahead and finish this interview off. I'd say if you're the Chads right now, I think you're in a pretty bad mood at the moment. You won your first game of the season. Now you're 1-3. It's not going too well. You've had some roster issues. So I want to know, obviously the Chads had their moments. They were able to take 2 maps off of you. Who or what from the Chads do you think gave you the most trouble today, as just to give them a silver lining?
That's... I'd probably have to say Zira, because Zira's a very polarizing Zarya, because he is equally as aggressive as his Reinhardt, he's more aggressive than is Ryan, so he'll constantly be in the front line, and he'd get huge grabs and all that. But so he definitely was a huge problem. Like his grabs would save them fights, or he would just randomly get a pick off because he was behind, or we wouldn't be shielding. But he also overextended enough times that we were able to hard punish him and just focus him down, and then they lost because they didn't have their main source of damage. So I'd say probably Zira.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on for an interview. And again, great job today. Your entire team played very well, and I'm sure you're very happy with this win.
Bark back, boys.
Bark back indeed.
Worst team in the league, by the way. A divided.
You've gotten a lot better. I'll give it to you.
All right.
We got this.
I really hope the Barkback Boys reference isn't what I think it is.
I don't think it is a reference.
Oh, okay then. Okay then.
It's
Never mind.
clearly a reference to the midnight bark from 101 Dalmatians.
No,
Obviously.
it's
Obviously.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, there we go.
No, it's not. We had two. Our previous hashtags were furry, so we decided to go with that.
Mm.
All right,
Yeah, furry hashtags work better in
we
Team
should
Fortress
probably
2.
go ahead and wrap up this stream. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hedwig, for coming on to interview. I'm gonna go ahead and move you to the general chat now.
GG's.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. And thank you everybody who came.